and welcome to a new episode of ETRetail Cafe by ETRetail. Today we have a very special guest who needs no introduction. She is none other than Ritu Beri. Ritu, a warm welcome to ETRetail Cafe today.
Thank you.
You have been the first fashion designer of India, launched the first brand in India, fashion brand. Just want to understand, 1990 was the time when you launched a brand, right? So that was a distant dream for people. What was your childhood like? What inspired you to become a fashion designer and launch a brand of your own?
So I don't know if I was the first fashion designer, but definitely when I launched my brand, there was no real fashion industry. There was no FDCI, there was no fashion shows really that were held. There was NIFT, which collaborated with FIT, and had just launched, and I was in the first batch of NIFT. So there was no real organized industry. We pretty much followed our own style and figured out what we wanted to do. My father was in the army, so we led a very disciplined life. We'd be traveling from one city to the other every two years. I went to convent. I'm convent educated, so it was all very structured, very disciplined. I think that is something that helped me later in my life to pretty much set up my life in a more disciplined and organized manner.
What inspired you to become a fashion designer?
Nothing inspired me to become a designer. I had no intention to become a designer, but what inspires me even today is to do something that nobody else does or nobody else has ever thought of doing. So back then in 87, I was trying to be a doctor, and I thought I come from a family of doctors, so I thought I'd be a doctor. And then I heard about NIFT coming to India, and they were going to pick up 25 students from the whole country.
Nice.
Now, that was an inspiration for me. I said, I had no idea what they would teach, I had no idea what I would become after that. I just wanted to be one of the 25 students in NIFT. And that's how I think I'm Destiny's child.
That's wonderful. So when you started your career somewhere around 90, so what were the consumer expectations at that point of time? I'm sure they must have changed by this time. How have
There were no expectations because
really?
the consumer was very simple. The consumer never wanted to set a trend.
Yeah.
They wanted to dress the way everyone else was dressing. They only dressed for weddings or for occasions. There was no everyday dressing. Today, you see everyone is so well
Yeah.
dressed. People are making that effort in the morning to look good, do their hair, do their,
Yeah.
back then there was no interest. Everyone dressed very simply. It was more Indian clothes. You didn't get Western clothes in India really. So if I told my client for a bridal dress to wear purple, they would say no, no, nobody's worn purple, but today the customer says, I want to be different, I want to wear something that nobody else has worn. So that's the evolution that we can see.
So did it help you also change the perspective slowly and gradually about the brand?
No, I don't think that affected me. I followed my path. I did what I felt like. I did what I believed in. And the consumer changed. I changed. My concepts changed. And the world goes on.
So what were the most challenging parts of your journey and how did you navigate them?
I think whenever there was a challenge, I was excited. So it wasn't like a challenge was a problem for me. A challenge was a way forward for me to do something new. So I don't think it would be right for me to say the challenges. For instance, doing a first uh, being the first designer to do a fashion show in Paris, I had no book to go by. No map to follow. I was doing my own thing. So that's a challenge for most people. We don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But for me, it was very exciting. So I wouldn't call it a challenge. The challenge for me was when I would plan something, I would dream of something, and then I wouldn't make it, which happens all the time. But then you learn, and it's a lesson, and you learn and you improve. So I'm really not affected by a challenge or a problem. It's all part of the game.
One career changing decision which you took and you were like, it was a life changing decision. It was the right decision.
So I think when I decided that I wanted to show in Paris, that was a life changing decision for me as a designer. because I was able to get out, being in, from the Indian Army. My father was an army officer. A young girl at that time, life was very conservative. Women were not even, I don't think many designers were thinking of doing anything in out of India. Everything was very India centric, and here I was to say no, I want to do a show in Paris. So I think that was quite a out of the box move.
It helped you grow.
I think everything different that you do, everything difficult that you do, always makes you grow.
So, if given a chance, one change that you would love to make in the past life career of yours.
I don't think I regret anything. I don't think I want to change anything, but maybe if I'd got into learning more about finance and to handle my business a bit more, clinically rather than compassionately and through with my heart. Maybe that would help me as a businesswoman.
So, as a businesswoman, you have grown with technology, right? There was a time when there was no technology intervention so much in the retail or the fashion industry itself. But now, when we say everything is happening with the help of AI or maybe with the help of tech, from designing to supply chain to from start to end, till the products reach consumer, technology is involved. So, was it difficult for you to cope up with the technology, or what are the hiccups, initial hiccups? Because omnichannel was a buzzword at a point of time, but it
What
has
was the buzzword?
omnichannel,
Okay.
but it now it has become a regular thing. So things have
I
changed a lot.
I'm quite tech challenged. But having said that, I think technology is a great asset as long as you don't lose your soul. You have to retain your, as a creative person, your creativity has to stay. But I think using technology in the right way is fantastic.
Yeah.
I have a team which is so efficient, so good with technology. It's a group of young kids who know their job, who know technology, and I use them as my gurus. And we manage. I think it's a great thing, but it's for creative person. It's key not to lose the sensibility and the create. The I mean, you
Creative
have to
juice.
exactly. You have to feel and touch and everything. But I think technology is fabulous.
Do you never feared if what if technology takes your job because there's so much noise? Technology is going to take X job, Y job. Are you not fear? I no
See,
fear of
I
that.
don't fear anything. I don't fear of anyone. I don't fear because if it's gonna go, it's gonna go. You can't change it. But if you're good and you're on top of the game, you'll be there. So as a designer, also, I really truly believe that if you don't reinvent yourself, whether it's technology or anything else,
Yeah.
you will be left far behind. If you're a designer and after a while you are not enjoying being a designer, you reinvent yourself into something else. There are so many options in this world. So the key is, if you stop reinventing, you're over. But I think if you use technology in the right way, you understand how useful it can be to you. It's a great asset.
It's an enabler.
I absolutely think so.
So, Ritu, you have been in the industry from such a long time, almost more than 30 years now. So, how do you see the industry growing going ahead? Because you have seen the past, you're seeing the present. How do you foresee the future of the industry?
I think the industry is doing fantastically well. We have a fabulous forum like FDCI, which is doing a good job of putting designers together. They're streamlining the industry to become on international levels. So I do see that we will grow a lot, we will improve a lot. But I just believe that we should follow the Japanese style of designers, where you don't lose your heritage. We've got such a rich heritage, we've got so much to offer the world. I think it's important to be true to your heritage and culture and then create inspired by that. So you keep your roots and then show the world a modern take to your cultural inspiration.
So, Ritu, have talked about the industry going, how it is going to grow going ahead, and the consumers need to slow down, the brands need to slow down. We talk about your label. How do you see it expanding? You have a store over here. You recently entered the Goa market also and opened Escape Goa over there. So, new venture, new ideas are you coming up with? So how do you see your brand taking ahead?
So when I began my career in 1990 and I launched my brand, I was very gung ho about uh, opening stores. So I had about 8 or 10 stores all over the country, and I wanted to go global, and I wanted to show uh, the world my design. I had lots of shows every season and all of that. But after 30 years of being in the industry, I realized that for me, retail is not about selling. And that does not inspire me. It does not turn me on. So for me, it's about an experience. Selling, retail, fashion has to be experiential. And so I decided I'm not going to be doing shows just because I'm supposed to do a show. A lot of designers, and I mean, they're doing great work, but many designers sometimes are not motivated or inspired, and they still carry on with the rut of doing shows every season, opening stores, whether they're selling or not, just to have stores. I took a decision of doing things that I really truly believed in and making it completely an experiential thing. So Escape Goa is a very experiential destination where you come and you experience shopping a certain way. You sit there and you're with nature, you have a coffee a certain way, you experience a fabulous meal. So it's a complete holistic lifestyle thing which I'm enjoying and I love doing.
So, Ritu, my last question on a very sweet note: if one memory you cherish a lot and brings back the smile on your face, what is the sweetest memory of your career?
So I remember when I was doing my shows in Paris, and I was very popular as a designer in Paris. Fashion TV came to me and said, we are looking at entering India, and we want to enter with you. At that point of time, I didn't quite understand how important that would be, and they decided to do a fashion show with me in Paris, and they decided to popularize the channel through an Indian designer, which the Indians will watch and get to know their channel. So I think that was a fantastic show. It was like an Indian cricket match because all over different cafes, I collaborated with Vijay Malia and Kingfisher. So we had huge screens in every cafe. Fashion TV did a whole lot of advertising, so it was literally like everyone knew that there was a show. They captured from the time the models came in to the fittings to the show itself and post show and parties. So I think it was a moment when India was being watched by the whole world literally, and I was so proud that I was the brand that did that. And Fashion TV, as you know, is a global
Yeah.
television, and that was their first step into India. And then we did a show in India, and I would really think that I really felt like India was being watched by the world. It was a fantastic moment.
India has reached the global map now in terms of fashion. People are looking for Indian fashion designers and opting for clothes of them.
Well, India is very inspiring. I feel very proud that I'm an Indian designer. As a creative person, I think we've got a lot of inspiration in India. Um, I mean, for instance, the Skolapuri incident, for me, I would think it's a great compliment, but it's also at some point, I feel the credit was not given to the karigar or the person artisan who's been doing this for years. You can use it as an inspiration, but you can't launch a
Product.
product which is so Indian and so authentically Indian. And I don't always blame the brand that copies India, but I always blame Indians for not claiming our design or not being proud and really going all there to talk about. We are not proud of our culture. We have such beautiful tribal art. I don't think any Indian goes and buys a tribal art. But if I was to take tribal art and show it to somebody in France or in Europe, they feel like I've given them a real treasure. It's handmade, hand crafted. I think it's so important for us to understand the value of what we have.
Indians are not marketing their products in the right way, the way international counterparts are. Is that so?
No, I think firstly they don't understand the value of their products. I mean, how many Indians actually realized that the kolhapuri was so trendy? Till a Italian brand picked it up and sold it for a lakh or whatever. We didn't really bother about the kolhapuri. Similarly, there are many things. I mean, khadi, for instance, as a fabric, is such a beautiful fabric. I've been using it since my launch in 1990. I don't know if Indians ever, when they go to shop, ever look at khadi as a fabric. Now, if Yves Saint Laurent was to pick up khadi and start doing khadi, shirts or chemise or whatever, I think Indians will suddenly start picking that up. So I think we have a cultural issue. We have a complex. We have to understand the value of what we have first,
And start propagating that.
and let the world follow, and they will follow. They are following.
True that. It was pleasure talking to you, Ritu. But before we wrap it up, let's have a rapid fire. And I will not give you time to think about any question.
Wow. Okay.
One book that you have read, and what have you learned from that you admire a lot?
Well, Fountainhead has always been one of my favorite books as a child, and I think I love the whole concept of doing what you want, basically.
If not in the fashion industry, what else you would have been doing?
A singer. I would love to be a singer.
Do you sing?
No.
You wanted to be a singer, but you don't
Yeah,
sing.
that's the dream, you see.
One brand or retailer that you admire a lot.
Hermes.
Why?
Because they've retained the heritage and derived value out of it. They are commercially a huge success, and they've retained their heritage and culture.
Everybody knows that you are a fashion designer. What else do you do in your free time or the pastime?
I'm very lazy. I relax.
Okay. What advice would you like to give to the budding or the upcoming designers who are trying to make a career for them in the Indian retail industry?
Break all the rules. Do it your way. Don't follow any trend.
Thank you so much, Ritu. It was
Thank,
pleasure having you today.
thank you so much.
I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I hope you also did. If yes, then do share this video with your friends and give us a shout out on the social media. We'll be back again next week with a new story and a new retailer. Till then, bye bye.